Are we on?
I think so.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Just Enough Trope News Hour. Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
We're here to bring you all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment. Just chatting.
Yeah, just chatting.
Just chatting every Sunday night.
Because Twitch doesn't have any other options.
There's one talking thing.
Yeah.
Just chatting.
Just chatting.
I don't know the numbers. Some people are playing League of Legends. Some people are taking a little bath in a little kiddie pool. It's cute, right? But I think like probably 75% of the stuff on Twitch is just chatting.
Just chatting.
You think they come up with something more than just and a girl going,
yeah, it sounds like a morning show with coffee, and like I think of Troy and Abed in the morning. You know, that's what I think of. I don't think I did the tune right, but that's actually what your mug is, actually.
we're just chatting.
Yeah, right. We're just chatting.
So we're here to just chat about the news, and let's chat about how you're doing.
I'm doing good. Yeah, I just finished watching the 5th season of The Crown.
Oh.
Yeah. Which
Tell me more?
Huh?
Tell me more?
Yeah, I know. You don't really want to hear about royalty. And their ridiculous rich lives.
I don't care about Netflix, but go ahead.
Yeah, I know that too. But I thought it was really well done as usual. The acting is really well done. The one critique I have about casting is Dominic West, who I think is a fantastic actor and I really like, do not get me wrong, but he was cast as Prince Charles, which...
What?
Give me a break. Prince Charles is a very... weird looking dude.
What's something that Prince Charles says?
Oh God. I don't know, that he wants a more modern Britain.
I want a more modern Britain.
Yeah.
You know, Prince Charles?
Yeah.
You know, he's like,
I had triangular shaped chest.
Yeah. size 52.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give him this. He has a lot of the mannerisms down of like
that might
Charles.
be being British.
No, I mean, he's doing the little mouth bite thing that he does, and his ears do not stick out. He's too good of a looking guy. I'm sorry. But I think,
Charles.
Yeah, I know. I think Elizabeth Debicki actually looks a lot like Diana, although she's probably taller than Diana was. But you forget about that.
On that?
Maybe.
Let me explain what I mean.
Please do.
Maybe you already know. If you're Robert De Niro is an Italian guy. Oh, no, hold on. Breaking news. And he played Jake LaMotta, right? Italian boxing guy.
Yeah.
And so Jake LaMotta's got this, big flat nose.
Sure.
Possibly enhanced by his pugilism. And so De Niro wore this big nose. He gained like a lot of weight for the future sequences where he was, fat. And people are like, oh, so good, so good. Did Kathy Moriarty look anything like Jake LaMotta's wife?
Great question. I have no idea.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Because she's a pretty.
I just think that somebody...
And then when did Nicole Kidman win the Oscar?
With her nose, yes.
Not her nose.
Yeah, right.
She had Virginia
a fake
Woolf
nose.
And they're like, so brave.
Yeah,
brave.
I know. I don't know that women necessarily get a pass. Let me explain. I think that somebody...
I put it wrong. I didn't mean they get a pass. I mean that we don't care as long as she's pretty.
As long as they're pretty. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I'm an ally.
Yeah, I know. I think that Prince Charles, though, is somebody who everybody knows what he looks like. I think that that's just much more difficult at the dissonance in your mind. Like, you may not know who that
Everybody knows what Princess Diana looks like.
I know, but you may not know what this boxing guy's legend wife looks like. So maybe that's more accepted.
I know she's got a black eye. I know that.
Okay. All right.
It's a good movie. It's just it's dark.
But I would say in season 4 of The Crown, the actors that they cast as Diana and Prince Charles really looked like them, and they won awards. So
why is your camera so good?
I have no idea.
Is it because I set it up?
Possibly.
I've got more headroom than a Muppets movie here.
We better fix that. I guess the one other thing that I would say is, like, I really enjoy the story of The Crown, and it is based on actual events. They have to have a disclaimer now that it's fictionalized at the beginning, but they do make the royal family look really good. Like, for example, the Queen says to Charles after their divorce is in the process of being finalized or is actually finalized that the divorce must not have been very easy for Diana either, which, give me a break. There's no freaking way she said that.
No, she's got a Diana voodoo doll
that
she puts in the Barbie Corvette.
Incredibly horrible to her. Yeah. They treated her very awfully, you know. They didn't treat her like she was family.
It's propaganda.
They were cold and, you know, rude to her.
Now, well-made propaganda.
Yeah.
Maybe we got something here.
I mean, I do think it is well-made, honestly.
The Crown is the triumph of the will of Netflix. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my God.
All right, let's talk about the news. Let's just get right into it. Let's just dive in head first. Did you know that Antonio Banderas has personally selected Tom Holland to lead a Zorro reboot? Now, this isn't to say that there will be a Zorro reboot.
Okay, so he just put his hat in the ring as Tom Holland should be picked?
If there's going to be one, it could be Tom Holland and Mucinex.
I mean, shouldn't we pick somebody who is actually the descent that Zorro, the character Zorro, was?
So without looking at Tom Holland's background, because who cares?
Right.
Yeah, wouldn't you think? Now remember,
yes,
Zorro.
Yes,
they've probably rewritten this, and they should. But Zorro is Hispanic, right?
Yes.
In Mexico.
Yes.
He is fighting to help the native Mexicans,
right, or
Southern Californians, fight against the Spaniards, who have, rule the place basically. So he is white. People from Spain are white, right?
Okay, right.
He is a white guy. Yeah. It is a white savior thing.
Ugh, I didn't realize that.
If Tom Holland has European history and blood, then I suppose there you go.
Okay, I'm not. Look, I like Tom Holland. I'm not particularly excited about this.
And plus, I don't know. It all depends on how we feel. It's something that we're sensitive about, I think, for good reason, especially with an ethnic hero like Zorro.
Yeah.
You can make the point that I made, or you can take the... who's the bad writer that wrote it? Akiva Goldsman? The Akiva Goldsman written Zorro movie, which involves Anthony Hopkins being the original Don Diego, right? And he is passing it down to a... So actually, they were updating it ethnically for that terrible but fun movie. Yeah. Anyway, he said, I would consider that possibility. Why not? I worked with him on Uncharted. He's so energetic and fun. He's got this spark, too. Why not?
I mean, I agree that he's got a spark and he's fun and everything, so... But... He's saying, like, why not, as if the person interviewing him suggested it or said, how do you feel about the idea of Tom Holland playing Zorro?
Screen test. Yeah, I'm Zorro. I make the sign of the Z. Tom, you don't have to do that voice. That's okay.
Right, right.
You're very good at that accent.
Yeah.
Like, you're kind of from Boston a little bit. Yeah, right. We're going to do something different, though.
Yes.
I got it. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Okay. Oh, give me the sword, man. I want to get in. No. Didn't he just do that? Like, essentially, Marky Mark is the older adventurer who is passing the mantle down to the younger adventurer.
Yes.
Uncharted is the Mark of Zorro. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
And Zendaya could be the love interest. She's the Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I mean, okay, we could do that. I mean, that would be an update, right? So...
I guess.
not that they need to be
she
in
didn't do a lot of movies.
Yeah, I mean, she's busy with Euphoria. That takes a lot of time.
It's just a TV show. It's just a TV show that they stopped making for 2 years.
I think so. Zendaya is like an interesting figure. I think that she is also like definitely an influencer, you know? Like, well, she wears a lot of like she has like people who assist her with fashion and everything, and she has a lot of interesting looks that she wears, and people are always like, what is Zendaya wearing, you know? And like, so I think she kind of has that going for her too,
which is nice.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about Wakanda Forever, which of course is, I think, cleaning up for a third weekend in a row.
Sure. At
the box office, doing extremely well. Of course, one of the standout stars in the movie is Tenoch Huerta, who is playing Namor, the Submariner.
Sure.
People have already asked, can we see a Submariner movie coming up in the future?
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Really?
The answer is no.
So Marvel said no.
Marvel has not said no. They still don't have full ownership of the character. This is a continuing version of the Hulk problem that we had before.
Oh my goodness.
Which is that Universal Pictures still owns technically the movie rights to the character.
So they had to do some collaboration with them in order to get him in the movie.
Thanks to Universal Pictures, and I'm sure that they got some kind of percentage or cut.
I'm sure they did too.
Whoops, don't worry about that.
Oh my goodness. You got everything okay?
Professionals.
Okay. Wow, I'm really surprised to hear that, because I guess I figured since he was in the film, and maybe I shouldn't have assumed, because look at what happens, speaking of Tom Holland, with Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, we have to share him with Sony, so Marvel does. So I guess it's not all that surprising, like this is still happening, but I guess I assumed that it wasn't an issue anymore.
Me as well. I don't know. The actor or the producer, they interviewed an executive producer for this article on Gizmodo, and he said that the character will return. Slight spoilers, I guess. He doesn't get drowned or something like that in Wakanda Forever. But they said the character will. They have plans for the character, but it won't be a Disney Plus series. It won't be a movie going forward.
So as of right now, because they don't have all the rights, he won't be starring in anything. He'll be like a side character and stuff. Okay. Well, that's kind of disappointing for the actor, I think, and for fans who really enjoyed that character.
I don't know where we're at with the Hulk.
Good point.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we probably haven't seen a Hulk film.
It's the same problem with Universal and the Hulk.
Yeah.
And it's ironic that, and I'm not saying that there isn't, I like the character She-Hulk. I've actually not finished the series yet, but I plan to.
Right.
But it's ironic that She-Hulk was initially merely a rights grab.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure they went out and made a bunch of female versions of their characters so that DC couldn't think of that.
Right.
And so that was initially the idea behind a character which has become a great part of the Marvel Universe. Mm-hmm. So that was how She-Hulk started. It's possible that now in the 21st century, the She-Hulk TV series, which is also great, your mileage may vary, is itself kind of a grab because they need to keep using Mark Ruffalo and stuff.
Yes.
Even though they can't give him a Hulk movie.
Yeah. He's probably...
So it's just look, there's something to say for complete totalitarianism when it comes to creative efforts. Having Disney have all the money in the world,
right,
being able to buy and own everything.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing.
Right.
Why can't they give them enough money for Universal to let go of these characters?
Big yellow shoes walking in unison.
Right. Exactly.
What's a Disney themed plane? TIE fighters. Now.
Okay.
Go across the sky in the propaganda film. Disney Uber Alles.
Yeah, right. I mean, they bought Marvel and they bought Star Wars, so it's surprising to me, or Lucasfilm, so it's surprising to me that they haven't been able to buy these characters back. I mean, I guess with Sony, it's a little bit less surprising because Sony is just, we're holding on to this
all
character. Yeah, I know, because it is
got.
actually making money. But Namor and Hulk are not making Universal money, so just let them go.
They are making Universal money.
With these joint projects?
Yeah.
Ugh.
They get paid for it.
It's a bad idea.
I want... Come back, little Namor.
Yeah.
Gotta get you back where you belong.
Yeah. It's just frustrating, that's all. So...
I don't disagree. Let's talk about some of those properties that are owned by Disney. So I don't know if you've heard of this guy. His name is Ryan Johnson. He's a writer and director.
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, a figure that evokes no emotions amongst anyone. He is... he said recently in an interview for his upcoming film, Glass Onion, that he wouldn't mind coming back to Star Wars for a TV show.
Okay, you wouldn't mind, but that doesn't mean that Lucasfilm wouldn't mind. So you're throwing your hat in the ring. And how well did Rogue One do? Or was he doing the second Star Wars film? That's sorry. Yeah. Which people don't necessarily like, but made a decent amount of money. How likely do you think that it is?
You're asking me a question? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
How likely do you think it is that Lucasfilm would be like a game for this?
All right. I keep forgetting that you're like, Groundhog Day? No, he's fine. You're like 51st Dates. 51st News Stories. Right? We got it. Because every time you hear something, you're like, here's some pointed criticism. We're like, nice. Thank you. And then, hey, did you hear about this? Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
You've forgotten that you've already heard something.
Uh-huh.
He did The Last Jedi.
Yes.
And then, which was controversial. They were still bullish. Notice you haven't heard the name Kathleen Kennedy in a while.
Yeah.
Although she's still, in her position.
I think she's still around.
Yeah. And so they were bullish on it, even though there was negative reaction to it. And they went off and they greenlit a ton of stuff, some of which we've already seen. Obi-Wan, Andor, all these things. But he was supposed to get... Remember D&D from Game of Thrones? They were going to have their own trilogy of films.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot that we're not very good at writing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The way you said it, I thought D&D games. I was very confused.
Lots of people call them. Because I can't remember their real names. It's like Dan and Dave, or those are the Olympic guys from the 92 Olympics. Doesn't matter. The point is that he was supposed to do a trilogy of films, the Ryan Johnson trilogy of films.
That's right.
You are sitting in the remains of a smoking forum, a crater that was a forum. And you're like, that sounds like a great idea, right?
Yeah, right.
So good that they had J.J. Abrams do the third movie.
Right.
Because we couldn't give it to this other white guy.
Right.
Who is questionably good at writing and directing.
Yes.
And so for a while, I think because, and I think this is good. I think this is a good instinct. Because Disney wanted to continue to show their support for their creator who, what the hell was he doing this whole time? Clearly they were not paying attention to what any of these people were doing, right? Because I think if they looked at it, J.J. Abrams' script for Rise of Skywalker had 14 stamps on it. Fine. Completely confusing.
Yeah.
Insultingly bad.
Right.
Fine. I think they let Ryan Johnson do whatever he wanted. And they're like, what's up? They're like, oh my God, you really messed things up for us, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so they didn't it's still not been canceled, his trilogy of films.
What?
But the fact that he is out here talking to comicbook.com, The Hollywood Reporter, and saying, I'd love to do TV. I think everybody but us has been told that his trilogy
is not
over.
happening.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Okay.
That's it. That's the news.
All right.
I just brought it up for discussion, but then I had to re-explain every story for the last 3 years to you. But that's fine.
Stop.
That's what this show's for.
Okay. Thank you for that.
So what would you think about a Ryan Johnson trilogy where he is allowed to do kind of dumb things and be a lot funnier than he thinks or not as funny as he thinks he is? But like if he was able to go, no, here's like 1, 2, 3. Like here are the 3 films that I want to do.
I am honestly
not just come in and ruin a series that is just getting started.
I'm honestly not excited about it.
I am not unexcited about it.
Okay. Care to explain?
I think my opinion is clear. No. if he had the chance to, because remember, if you're just going like, if you're playing an improv game and you're like, hippopotamus, what about that? It's the next guy's problem.
Right.
But I think
next guy's problem.
What he didn't think about is that he gave them nothing. Like he said, none of this matters. Let's move forward. And it's like, if that's the first act of your trilogy, great. Then you can take it in whatever direction you want. But he knew he was handing it off to the guy who wrote the Book of Henry.
Yeah.
That's not going to work out.
No.
There's nowhere to go there. I hate talking about Star Wars. So if you've got nothing else to say, I'm probably just going to move on.
Let's move on. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I don't really enjoy talking about Star Wars right now either.
Great.
To be perfectly honest. Look, I love The Mandalorian. That's all I'm going to say.
You like the theme song.
I do like the theme song, but it's not just the theme song. I like the whole series. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like when
here we go.
We set up a huge conflict? The idea that the Mandalorian, he's made his choice. Mm-hmm. He's saving this baby.
Right.
And now he's in a position where he is in trouble. There's robots. And these robots are going to kill everybody. And he's with Michelle. No, not Michelle Yeoh. Ming-Na. He's with a lady that we don't talk about anymore.
Yep.
And he's with Kira Thrace Starbuck.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight these robots.
Yeah.
And the chips fall where they may. And, oh, what's up? Oh, Luke Skywalker killed them all? Okay, cool.
Well, not that part. Like,
no, not the bad parts.
Don't get I don't know. Don't get something gross mixed in with my peanut butter. That's all I have to say. I don't want to list something gross because I don't want to gross out our viewers.
Are you stealing my thing from the other day?
I am.
Where I talked about how a lot of these shows are when you've got a 13 episode. Oh, I get to do it if you're going to steal it.
Okay.
You got a 13 episode Netflix series, right? You got maybe about 7, 8, and that's being generous, episodes of material, but it's got to be 13. And it's like saying we've got 80% peanut butter and 20% dog shit.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that we spread the dog shit. The dog shit in this case is like characters just having conversations that we already understand.
Just
long stretches of
just
right. So he's like, we'll make sure to put the dog shit in so it's sort of like spread evenly throughout this peanut butter. And I'm like, why not put the dog shit in?
Yeah.
Why not hold that back?
Yeah, just make it all peanut butter.
Just do as many episodes as you've got story for.
Yeah.
Give me all peanut butter.
Give me all peanut
just
butter.
Just enough trope. All peanut butter.
Yes, exactly.
No dog shit.
No dog shit.
That's the plan.
That is the plan. I didn't like it when one thing I liked about The Mandalorian was it was not about Jedi at all. And it was completely...
Well, it's called Andor.
Don't stop. I don't want to talk about Andor right now.
Okay. So Andor is a guy.
Stop it. But... and then it has completely not connected to anything that came before it, like the main series, the original series, or the
true,
prequels.
Whoa. That's not true, but that's okay.
But I mean, I don't want to talk about Andor right now.
We're professionals.
Yeah. But I liked how it was doing its own thing. And then here's Luke Skywalker in the end of it. And I was like, oh, great.
I've got another Star Wars story if you want to keep talking about it.
No, let's move on to something else, please.
Okay, let's talk about, do you want to talk about Leonardo DiCaprio or Quentin Tarantino?
Aren't those two connected?
Yes, you got me. What if, in the Labyrinth style movie, the young maiden approaches and the guy says, "The riddle of time shall be this." Actually, this is happening to me right now. Sometimes on Twitch here, subscribe. I stream God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
I've been doing it over the weekend because, I don't know. You can't work all the time.
Yeah.
And there's a funny bit where Mimir is a character who's very smart. He's talking to this other character who is not dumb, but is not known as the smartest guy ever. And the dumb character says, "I got a riddle for you. What gets bigger the more you take away?" And they run it into this bit where it's like Mimir's like, "Oh, is it this? Is it this? Oh, I can't let this guy get me," right? It would work better if they didn't use a riddle that was in an Encyclopedia Brown book.
Oh, no.
A hole.
Oh,
The more you take from a hole,
the bigger
it gets.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
like really easy, but this guy can't get it. So if they'd picked a better riddle, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation.
Because he's really smart and it makes him look dumb.
Well, that's what I did. I was like, pick from these two stories, which are the same story.
Yeah. Let's talk about Leo.
Well, Leo refused to do a screen test for Titanic.
Yeah, I heard this.
And James
I don't
Cameron
really
said,
care.
James Cameron said, you do the screen test or you don't get in the movie.
Okay. Did he do it then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, he never let anybody tell him what to do ever again, except for his mom.
I mean, that sounds about right. That sounds like Leo. He probably thought that he was already a big name, would be my guess. And so he was probably like, I don't need to do a screen test. Whereas I think you and I were talking before off the air how Titanic was really more his breakout role, more so than Romeo plus Juliet.
Well, we're going to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
So his filmography goes like this. Titanic came out in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, he was in... Do you want to guess or...
Romeo plus Juliet, Basketball Diaries. I was a big Leo fan. What else? I can't think of what else.
So he was nominated for an Oscar in 1993 for What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, yes. What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
That was his breakout role.
Yep.
He was in the Basketball Diaries, which nobody really saw, but you Superfan did.
I saw it.
He was in The Quick and the Dead, which Superfan didn't see. Weird. But also the movie did terribly. And he was in Romeo and Juliet. That was probably his first big commercial hit.
Yep.
And he was in Marvin's Room, which he was lauded for.
Yes, I saw that.
He was lauded for, but was not a success. Now, Titanic came out in 1997. It famously took 2 years to make, which means Mr. I was in The Quick and the Dead doesn't want to do a screen test.
I know.
You are on growing pains.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do a screen test.
Yeah.
This isn't like future DiCaprio. We're not coming from the future. This isn't a time machine. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Where are your blondes? Dun, dun, dun. Too old.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just like, wow. So you've always been like this, huh?
Well, I mean, he was a child star.
Yeah. But it makes it even more. I guess I understand it more, but I also feel like, oh my God. Because when he finally won that Oscar, I feel like everybody in that auditorium sort of unclenched. They're like, finally, I don't have to see.
Well, he was trying for so long to get the Oscar.
But knowing that he was this entitled in 1995, it's like, oh my God, think about it. For 25 years, he's just like, at every award show, he's like,
well, and think about how close he is to his mom. She probably has been telling him that he's like the most wonderful
what's up with that?
Actor. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that.
What's up with that?
I don't know. It's a little odd, but...
I wish we had a new story about his life growing up. But we don't, so we can't talk about it.
Right, exactly. I don't know.
Well, I tricked you because we're going to talk about Quentin Tarantino anyway. Quentin Tarantino is making the rounds for some reason. They're talking to him and interviewing him, and of course, he's putting that foot, ironically, in the mouth where he wants it.
Okay.
Not his own, obviously. He has said recently on a podcast, 2 bears, 1 cave.
What?
That's the name of the podcast.
Oh,
he didn't just say 2 bears, 1 cave.
I was
that
very
was me.
confused.
That was me. He said that Marvel actors aren't movie stars.
Yes, I heard this. This is really insulting. And as you pointed out, very insulting to a particular actor who is one of his favorites that he works with all the time, Mr. Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, right?
What are you doing, Quentin?
A big Nick Fury fan?
Yeah. No? Yeah. Like one of your faves who you clearly think is a good actor and is probably a big name. And
would you consider Robert Downey Jr. to be a movie star?
I would. Yes, I would.
Okay. Not you.
I think Scarlett Johansson is a movie star.
Absolutely.
I mean, I will give you this. Not everybody who is featured in the Marvel films is necessarily known for being in other stuff besides Marvel films. But I think that that's a ridiculous blanket criticism to throw out there. And just what is with all of these directors just ragging on Marvel in particular? Like, it's like they're
the big...
it's like they're jealous of how much recognition they're getting. Jealous.
He would love to do the business that, the worst Marvel movie does.
Yeah.
And of course, it's not all about business, but...
No. I mean, I think that Quentin Tarantino's films are really well beloved and people really like them.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I don't know what he's on about.
Well, anyway, he specifically used the example that people come to see Captain America and not Chris Evans. And it's like, do you understand anything? People who used to come and see Cary Grant, for instance. They wanted to have sex with Cary Grant.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yes.
Nobody cared that Cary Grant was, also a pretty good actor, although he sure does. He's got a thing that he does, and he just kind of does that all the time. Like, is that acting? I don't know.
Right.
I think you could say that about Chris Evans.
Yes.
So I don't know what he's talking about. Normally, he's kind of a blowhard. Even a blowhard can blow true. Sometimes.
I guess.
This is a foot thing.
Yeah.
But this is just a real blowhardy thing. And it's like, just calm down.
Well,
we get it.
It's
we get it. It's not the way it used to be. We understand.
But
this
times
is the way
change.
that it is now.
And like, what is with all of these people being like, it's not the same. It's not the same. Maybe things shouldn't be the same. Maybe things should change and grow and expand.
I'm going to go back in time and set the Manson family on fire with a flamethrower.
Yeah, what the...
I feel like when
Chris Evans is like one of the nicest actors you could ever meet. For a Hollywood actor, he's pretty down to earth.
He's a Pats fan. How great can he be? Let's talk about a different story. How about? Do you want to talk about the fact that Bob Iger's back, baby?
I think we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Former Disney CEO Bob Iger is returning to the company, replacing Bob Chapek, who had replaced him.
I'm just... When I saw this story, I did not expect. No, my mind was blown. I was like, what the hell, Disney? And like, Bob Chapek, like, I guess he had made a couple of missteps, they feel, and business is down. But that, honestly, that could also be, like, he took over, like, in 2020, like, in, like, February, I think.
Yeah, I think Chapek has been CEO for about 18 months.
Yes.
And, yeah, they're bringing the old guy back.
Well, and it's been, like, during the pandemic. So, of course, you're losing money because the amusement parks weren't open. Yeah. Movie theaters were closed. What do you frickin' think?
Well, it's not just that, though. We know that because there is, and it's boring, and we don't need to go into it, on this show.
All right.
You can listen to Just Enough Trope for that. We'll be as boring as we want. But the entire model has changed.
Yeah.
Entire business has changed.
Right.
And is continuing to change. And different institutions are dealing with those changes in different ways.
Right.
At different speeds. And Disney really wants to change. They've been very traditional for a long time. They let Netflix get by them. They let Amazon, depending on how you feel about Amazon programming, become a big player in the space.
Yeah.
Apple's here. So Disney is a large machine. It takes a while to get going. And so they had all these plans with what they were going to do. And yeah, the pandemic, killed the chance for them to even find out if those plans would work or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had not made the same kind of changes that, say, Warner Brothers did, who is also in a state of, vast transition.
Yeah.
But they are reversing a lot of those changes. But they're also doubling down on a lot of those changes. They'll still be letting staff go. They'll be streamlining. Strange World just bombed this weekend. Big surprise. Got good reviews, but nobody went to see it because it just looks like Disney movie X, doesn't it? There's nothing really special about it.
And I just wonder, like, I didn't hear about it until like a week or so before it was coming out. So it just seems like they also didn't do a whole lot of marketing for it.
No.
So I don't know. But yeah, it looks like just like the same, like, find and replace like Disney movie that we've seen before. So I don't know, maybe it is really great, but like you said, people didn't go see it. I just think it's a weird move to bring the former head like back, and they just feel like, oh, he's the best guy for this transition that we want to do. And it's like, okay, but he wanted to retire, and like it's not like he didn't make missteps
well, apparently
while he was there, but
he oversaw the buying of Star Wars. He oversaw the buying of...
I know.
I think he helped in the buying of Marvel.
Okay.
All of Disney's growth, where they now own 75% of all like things that exist in the entertainment sphere in Hollywood, and also own most of the distribution for their films as well. That's all him. And he did retire, but he was still drawing a salary as a consultant. Ugh. And one of the points of friction is that Chapek never called on that. He never used Iger as a consultant. So all through the pandemic, all through their changes and tried to update their Disney Plus strategy, he apparently never bothered to call Bob Iger. So Bob Iger, the whole time, is just like, he's watching the numbers go down. Disney post a loss for the first time in a long time. And he's like, what do these guys do? He's pulling out. He did nothing up there. He's trying to pull. What are these guys doing? So he is, he's happy to be back because he's like, okay, I'm not going to be here forever, but I'm going to try to set things right. So I don't know. Like, we're talking about people who, incredibly rich people who I don't give really a shit either way.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to, get a Namor movie.
Yeah, I agree. Work on getting those rights. How about that, Bob?
Yeah. First thing you do, Bob, ring, Universal Studios.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me the rights.
Yeah. That's what I think. Yeah, okay, so the good things that he did overshadow the not so great things, so that's fine. I just think it's weird. I feel bad for Chapek, even though he's probably crying on his bed of thousands of dollars. So
thousands?
Millions.
Well, he must be at his pied-à-terre.
Okay.
Inside of his pied-à-terre.
Right.
Let's talk really fast about... It's been bouncing all over the place, but before we wrap up today, let's talk about a story that, kind of like the rest of the stories we talked about, you and I don't care about at all, but it's news.
Okay.
So we've got to talk about it.
All right.
And that is the fact that it has been announced that Angelica Houston will be starring in the John Wick spin-off film, Ballerina, which was formally announced to be starring Ana de Armas.
That's
So this is a spin-off in the world of John Wick, starring Ana de Armas as an assassin who was a ballerina. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing there's some R in her backstory. I don't know how YouTube works. I've heard about demonetization, but some, what R, like R.
Okay, I understand now. Yep.
Because that's how men write character development for women.
Yeah, that's all tough women.
And anyway, Angelica Houston will be reprising her role as the I don't remember the character's name, but she was in charge, of the family or whatever. Remember?
Vaguely.
She makes him cut his finger off.
Yes. I mean, all the John Wick films. Sorry,
It's Black Widow.
They all bleed together. Yeah.
An assassin who
has a ballerina history.
Ballerina. This is Black Widow.
So Ana de Armas was gonna play like the younger version of her, and then for whatever reason that didn't work, and so now she's playing. Angelica Houston is reprising her role. Did I mishear you?
No. Angelica Houston is just the lady, the boss lady.
Okay.
There's the boss baby.
Uh-huh.
She's the boss lady.
Yeah. Okay.
John Wick 2? Which one he cuts his finger off?
I don't know.
You know who Angelica Houston is, right?
Yes. Please move on. I'm very confused.
We're gonna buy a 75-inch, TV or something like that and put it back here, and I'll sit here like the news, and the thing will come up,
Yeah.
And we'll do that.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll be able to see what's on the screen because I'll project it there.
That's
and you'll
fine.
know what the hell I'm talking about half the time.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, this is a totally new movie.
Uh-huh.
Ana de Armas
I got
will be
that.
playing a topless assassin. Maybe bottomless. Depends on how good she is. And it will feature Angelica Houston reprising her role as Lady in a Shawl who makes John Wick cut his finger off, because she's the head of the assassin family, the Medicis or whatever it is.
Okay, this is what I heard you say.
This is like two-person telephone.
Yeah.
It's like one person says something to somebody else, and then they say what they thought they heard.
Yeah.
That's called a conversation.
Yeah, okay. But this is what I heard you say. Angelica Houston is replacing Anna de Armas.
Reprising. It's a word. Reprising.
You should have said Angelica Houston is reprising her role, and also Anna de Armas is going to be starring in this film.
Boy, pronouns. We've got problems with them all over the place.
Apparently we do.
All right.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
Fine.
Anna de Armas, who I really respect.
Yeah, I really like her.
I knew about her before everybody fell in love with her in that James Bond movie that was terrible. And
she was great in that.
I really do respect her. But I've always thought this about her. She'll do anything. And it's like, Anna, you made it now. You have made it. Mm-hmm. It's time to start saying no to stuff.
Do you think she's like another Eva Green?
Eva Green's still saying yes to stuff. But Eva Green would go out and do movies that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And those were like the ones for her. And then she'd do like Tim Burton's X-Men, Victorian X-Men movie.
Right.
It's like, nobody's going to see that. But she's like, but I'm getting paid though.
Yeah.
And she was, I don't like that show, The Penny Dreadful, but she was great on it.
She was great on it.
Yeah.
I agree.
She was, everybody else is just like, it's a TV show.
Kind
Take
of
it easy.
In. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anna de Armas is great in everything she does, but she's got to start. It's like the Ben Mendelsohn thing. Ben Mendelsohn, you're a really good actor. You're really good at what you do. You don't need to be the bad guy in every single bad action movie or whatever. Yeah. So it's time to start saying no, Anna.
I agree. She should say no. You don't need to be in a John Wick film. Although I think she'll get a lot of
I think we have to really acknowledge the neighbor vacuuming upstairs.
Yeah, we do. Our neighbor is vacuuming right now, which is incredibly irritating.
I'm going to start a podcast about her.
No, don't do that.
No, I'll change all the names.
Okay. No.
It's gonna be people. It'll win an award. It's like the tragic reality of this woman, this fictional woman. How does he know so well what this lonely woman goes through?
Because we can hear everything she does in her apartment.
Okay, we don't need to get into this.
She is so loud.
I would like to end this show with a nice, silent bed of sound as we sign off and give you our particulars. I can't promise you that's going to happen.
No.
I'm probably going to delete this show as soon as we turn it off. So.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh, you want this recorded for the record and posterity? Let history know that we never recorded a show Thanksgiving weekend. But anyway, thanks for joining us. As always, it's wonderful to be able to do the news for you. We're here every Sunday night, probably at 7 from now on, though, depending on when cleaning time starts.
Oh, my gosh.
To talk about the news of the nerd. Thanks for joining us here in the show. And you can always find us here during the week. We're here at 12 p.m. to talk about video games on the Laser Lunch Hour. Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central, we talk about Star Trek for our show Discoverage. And, of course, Sunday nights, for now... But maybe we won't. Who knows? Going forward, we're talking about the news with Just Enough Trope News Hour. I can be found on Twitter at @KA1IBAN. You can find all of the shows on our network at Just Enough Trope. I don't know if advocacy for getting somebody uncanceled on Twitter is a thing, but I know Mika and Hana can use your help.
I really could, because I am still not allowed back on Twitter.
I say just make Mika and Hana one and just move forward.
I really don't want to do that.
Maybe you can roll it back later.
Maybe I could do _ Mikan Hana.
_ Mikan Hana.
Yeah.
So look for that soon. Other than